Y'all know. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what time it is. Good morning. This is Good Morning NFC East. I'm your guy, Tone DeShields II, holding you down this week after Super Bowl weekend. It's Friday. We're beginning to head into a new week. And like I mentioned to you guys yesterday on Chalking Up Sports, and I mentioned to you guys on JAKIB Sports as well. And make sure you guys go check out both of those platforms. We have to turn the page, right? There comes a moment in your life where you have to turn the page on what happened and focus on what is and not on what was or what could have been or what should have been or what would have been. You follow me here? There's going to come a time where we have to say, you know what? The Super Bowl Sunday happened the way it happened, and we have to live with the results. And you take from it from what you will. You take from it what you will. What did you learn? What did you realize? You follow me here? And throughout this offseason, we're going to learn a lot. We're going to learn a lot about the Philadelphia Eagles, their resolve, their ability to get back on track, their ability to get back into Super Bowl contention. We're going to learn if Howie Roseman is worth his weight in gold. We're going to find out just how clever, how witty, how strategic he is. Because once this Jalen Hurts contract kicks in and that's signed and sealed and delivered, then we're going to start to see some things really take shape. You're not going to really hear or see too many moves made until the Jalen Hurts contract is locked up and set in stone. But that's not really what I want to talk to you guys about today. Smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to JAKIB Sports. What's up, Go Sixers? What's up, Hulk Mercenary? You know, like I mentioned, you have to turn the page. And the 2023 season is on its way here. And I was looking over the schedule. And the schedule is something that I'm extremely fascinated by because we're going to find out just how good the Philadelphia Eagles are. We obviously know they were good enough to make it to a Super Bowl this past season, but we also want to find out how good they are during the regular season when the quarterback competition gets a little higher. Also, when you can't bring back all the talented guys that you were able to bring in before. So we're going to find out more so about this defense going forward. Rumor is Vance Joseph is in the running for the Eagles DC job. So we're going to find out what this defense looks like going forward. But also, again, the offense is pretty much still intact. You have questions at center and you have questions at right guard, and running back. But running back, relatively a simple fix. Center and right guard, you're not in the worst situation. I think Kelsey may come back. I think Jurgens moves over to right guard until Kelsey retires, and then Jurgens moves back to center. Then we draft the right guard. I think we're going to draft some offensive linemen in this draft anyway. That's what happens. That's how the Eagles move. They build the team from the inside out. They're going to draft offensive linemen, defensive linemen. That's just what they do. That's just what they do. But I want to talk to you guys about the upcoming schedule. And I also want to dig a little further than that and talk about the specific quarterbacks that the Eagles could potentially face in the 2023 season. So let's do it. Now, obviously, the time and dates for these games haven't really been set yet. But what we do know is we know the opponents. Obviously, they face off with the Giants, Commanders, and Cowboys twice a year each. You're going to face Dak twice. Daniel Jones twice, most likely. The rumor is he's going to get a $35 million deal. I don't know how that happens. Then the Washington Commanders. The Washington Commanders are the biggest question mark at quarterback. You follow me here? The reason I'm approaching it from the quarterback perspective is because that's kind of how our playoff run was defined, right? That's kind of how the Super Bowl run was defined. We were able to take advantage of mediocre quarterbacks. And then when the Eagles came up against a real one, the defense sort of fell short. Did the defense underperform? definitely. But they also didn't even try to make it difficult for Patrick Mahomes. So we're going to find out how this defense handles top tier quarterbacks going into the 2023 season. That's why I want to approach it from that perspective. I want to approach it from that angle because the quarterback position clearly trumps good rosters. We've seen it. Now, Patrick Mahomes is a different animal. But the whole narrative behind the Super Bowl was, will this stacked roster be able to stop or beat a team that's nowhere near as talented but has the better quarterback? And the better quarterback won that day. You follow me here? This has nothing to do with Jalen Hurts. I'm talking about the roster. Remember, that was the story. This roster, the Eagles roster is stacked. The Chiefs roster, not so much. We can get into the nitty-gritty, but I won't. The bottom line is the better quarterback beat the better roster. So this is an opportunity for Jalen Hurts to elevate his game, actually, going into the 2023 season, because his roster is technically going to be lesser than. It is. The roster isn't going to be the same going into next season, especially on defense. It's mainly the defensive side of the ball. The offense is pretty much intact, but the defensive side of the ball is going to be very different. And on top of that, you lost both coordinators, offensive and defensive. So you have no idea what this is going to look like. The path is a bit clearer on offense because most likely Brian Johnson, the quarterback coach for the Eagles, will get that job. But the DC spot is a little bit more foggy. They say Vance Joseph is in the running, like I mentioned. Who knows who they'll bring in. That's the bottom line. So Dak twice a year, Daniel Jones twice a year. Okay. Let's make sure we keep a track of that. Okay. So Dak 2 times a year, Jones 2 times a year. And when it comes to the Commanders, right now, I think they're trying to move forward with Sam Howell. I don't know what they're going to do with Taylor Heineke. I don't know what they're going to do with Carson Wentz. I have no idea what they're going to do with those guys. No freaking clue. So let's just put Heineke / Howell, because I think Carson Wentz is out of there. I don't know how they're going to move on from it, but they will. All right, so you face Dak twice a year, Jones twice a year, and Heineke / Howell twice a year. All right. Now, let's take it a step further. The Rams, you're gonna face Stafford. Okay. You're gonna face Mac Jones. The Eagles are going to face. Now, here's the thing about the Jets. The Jets are a really good team, in my opinion. I feel like the Jets are a quarterback away. They have running backs. I think is it Breece Hall? Breece Hall, he should be coming back this season healthy. So the Jets, who's going to be their quarterback? That's a mystery. That's a mystery. So I'm just going to write Jets QB ? Okay. Arizona Cardinals, Kyler Murray, but I think Colt McCoy is going to start for the season. So it all depends when we play them. So we're just going to put Kyler Murray on there just to be safe, you know. So Kyler Murray, so far, the best quarterbacks the Eagles are going to face so far that I've gotten through: Dak Prescott, Stafford, Kyler Murray. We're going to keep going through the schedule to make sure we get this thing figured out. Now, the 49ers are another wild card here. Will it be Purdy when he's healthy? Will it be Trey Lance? So I'm just going to write Purdy Lance. Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen. That's a top-tier matchup right there. Miami Dolphins, Tua. I'm curious to see if they actually give Tua a contract or if they extend him. That's going to be really fascinating to watch. Now let's go over to Seattle. Seattle, obviously, Geno Smith is going to come back. I heard they're working on a contract with him. Kansas City Chiefs, you're going to face Patrick Mahomes one more time. Then the Minnesota Vikings, you're going to face Kirk Cousins again. Then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who's going to be their quarterback? We don't know. Tampa Bay. So let's just put TB QB. because we have no idea who the Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback is going to be going forward. We just don't know. So I've named all the quarterbacks that the Eagles are going to face going into the 2023 season. You have Dak twice, Daniel Jones twice. You have the Washington Commanders quarterback twice. Then you got Stafford, Mac Jones, the Jets quarterback, Kyler Murray, Brock Purdy or Trey Lance, Josh Allen, Tua, Geno Smith, Patrick Mahomes, Kirk Cousins. So let's really think about it here. Patrick Mahomes, that's a top that's a quarterback you have to worry about. A real quarterback you have to worry about. Josh Allen, that's a real quarterback you have to worry about. I expect Matthew Stafford to bounce back. That's a real quarterback you have to worry about. Say what you want about Kyler Murray, he's still relatively dangerous. That's a quarterback you have to worry about. Tua, say what you want about him. He's someone you still have to worry about. Kirk Cousins, I don't believe in him. Geno Smith, let's find out if he can repeat what he did. I don't know if he can. I'm not doubting it, but I'm not really betting on him to lead the league in completion percentage once again. That's not an easy feat. Not an easy feat. But overall, the quarterback position is going to define a lot. And when you think about Jalen Hurts, right? Jalen Hurts is, where does he compare to most of these guys that they're going to face going into the 2023 season? Is he better than Dak? If you ask me, yes. Is he better than Daniel Jones? Yes. Heineke Howell? Yes. Stafford? I think he's better than Stafford right now. Obviously, Stafford has a better arm. He just has a stronger arm, but I feel like Stafford is declining. So is he better than Stafford? I say so. Is he better than Mac Jones? Yes. Better than Kyler Murray? Yes. Better than Brock Purdy and Trey Lance? Yes. Better than Josh Allen? I believe they're on par. I give the edge to Hurts because of the resume. Is he better than Tua? Yes. Is he better than Geno? Yes. Is he better than Patrick Mahomes? No. Kirk Cousins? Yes. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback, we have no idea who that is. So there are only about maybe 3 quarterbacks on this list that you really have to, maybe 4. There's maybe 3 or 4 quarterbacks that you really have to pay attention to. I say you have to pay attention to Dak because of the dynamic of his success with the Eagles. He is historically successful beating the Eagles. So Dak is someone you still have to worry about. He's in the division. Josh Allen, you have to worry about him. Say what you want about his decision-making. You got to worry about Josh Allen. You got to worry about Patrick Mahomes. You have to. So what is that? 3 guys I mentioned? Mahomes, Josh Allen, Dak. I think those are the 3 guys that you really, really have to be conscious of. And then there are honorable mentions, obviously, with Kyler Murray, Tua, so on and so forth. So the bottom line is this. We have no idea what this Eagles defense is really going to look like going forward, right? It's kind of up in the air. We don't even know who's going to be calling the plays. But one thing I will say, I think it's going to be important for the Philadelphia Eagles to try their best. It's going to be important for them to try their best to try to bring some people back. Some. On whatever contracts you can finesse out of those guys, right? But even more so, it's more important that this Eagles team, has a legitimate 2023 NFL draft. The Eagles have to have a good draft. This isn't one of those years where they can afford to play around and BS through the draft or just take chances on guys. Don't overlook it. Don't overlook the obvious. Get a lot of your players from the SEC like you've been doing. Add some pedigree, some talent to this, to this thing. Continue to build this team with quality talent. You feel me? I haven't had the opportunity to scout any players yet. I haven't had the opportunity to look up any sort of scouting reports, but maybe you guys can help me out here. Who are some defensive guys that's coming out of the draft that you think the Philadelphia Eagles should target with the the 10th overall pick? Is that what they have? The 10th overall pick. So who are some defensive guys coming out of the draft that you guys think the Eagles should target? As a matter of fact, what positions are the most dire on this Eagles defense? Which position on the Philadelphia Eagles defense do the Philadelphia Eagles need to focus on? Because I definitely think they need to draft D lineman, linebacker, corner, most importantly, corner. Davey Boy feels they should trade the pick. Now, why do you think they should trade the pick, Davey Boy? Jeremiah Harcourt says corner. Davey Boy, why do you think they should trade the pick? I'm curious about that. That's interesting. Because there is some talent. Unless you believe they can get a corner a little later in that first round. Stephen Thomas says, before I can call Hurts elite, he has to be great for more than 1 year. Let's see him do it again. Hey, I'm not mad at your logic. I'm not mad at that logic, Stephen Thomas. Khonshu says corner. Davey Boy says they can probably get 3 to 4 picks for that draft pick. Interesting. So essentially, they trade back, they swap picks, and they get an additional 3 picks or 2 picks. It is a top 10 pick, and there are going to be a lot of teams looking for quarterbacks. That's an interesting point, Davey Boy. Do the Eagles need to draft a top? See, the Eagles need a high-impact guy that can start right away. They need a high-impact rookie that can start right away. And if they manage to get the guy, Bijan Robinson, like you guys so desperately want, more power to him. But I'm not drafting a running back in the first round. That's just not what I'm going to do. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in drafting a running back in the first round. But you can find a guy in the second or third that can be just as productive or accomplish what you want him to accomplish for your offense. Hulk Mercenary says, I think this draft is top heavy. I wouldn't trade back. I would just get the best defensive players available. I'm all about getting best available. I don't care what position he plays. I'm all about getting best available. T. Will, avoid running back in the first round, please. Davey Boy, I do not want a running back in the first round. Maybe if he slips to 31. I wouldn't even want him at 31. I get a running back in the second round. Jeremiah Harcourt, will it be as much value at 4 and 5? Stick with 2 first. Well, let's find out the draft picks they do have. Because I want to make sure we're speaking accuracy here. How many draft picks do the Philadelphia Eagles have? All right. Let's see. So in this upcoming draft, the Philadelphia Eagles have 2 first-round picks, which are pick 10 and pick 30. Pick 30. That should be pick 31. I don't understand how they would have pick. It says here they have pick 30. I don't understand that. Round 2, pick 62. Round 3, pick 94. Round 7, pick 221 that they got from Houston. And round 7, pick 250. So the Eagles have 4 early round picks, 2 first, a second, and a third, and then they don't have another pick until the 7th round. I think actually you guys might be right. You guys might be right on something. He's definitely trading one of these picks. He's definitely trading one of these picks to get some more picks in the 4th, 5th, and 6th rounds. You might be right, Davey Boy. You actually might be right. Because to go 4th, 5th, to go 3 whole rounds without picking talent, I don't see the Eagles doing that. You might be on to something, Davey Boy. You might be on to something. Because really, when you really put it in perspective, why would they draft players in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and then completely skip the 4th, 5th, and 6th rounds? I don't think that happens. I think you might be on to something. I think they might trade one of those picks and get some more picks maybe in the 4th or the 5th. You never know. But I definitely think they're going to move one of those first-round picks. One of those first-round picks are going to get moved. That's my honest thought. But hey, what's going on, Burr? How you feeling, man? So, yeah, I think the Eagles definitely need to target a corner because Darius Slay's getting old. He's due $17 million this year. I'd hardly feel comfortable giving him all of that. $17 million for a 32, 33-year-old corner. Ah, man. Look, it's all gonna be. It's all gonna. I'm curious to see how the defense looks with the new coaching staff, with the new DC. But again, you got to be careful where you spend the money this year. You have to be careful where you spend the money this year because you don't want to put the money in the wrong pocket. You don't want to dedicate too much money to an older guy. You got to get younger. You got to get younger, and you got to get more talented, especially at corner. I think James Bradbury is gone. I think the James Bradbury experiment is over with. I also think the Eagles are going to try to do something with the Darius Slay contract. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but Howie Roseman always makes a move somehow, some way. That Darius Slay contract, trust me, all that cap hit is going to be adjusted. That's what I believe. But let's really, because we have to focus on the roster as it is, right? We can't even talk about this roster as if those other guys are here. We got to think about, okay, who is on the defensive line? Who is signed? Jordan Davis, Milton Williams, Hassan Reddick, Josh Sweat, Marlon T, Patrick Johnson, Teron Jackson. You need to fortify that D tackle spot. Is Milton Williams ready to be a full-time defensive tackle? Is Jordan Davis ready to take his game to another level? Then you go back to the linebackers. We have no starting quality linebackers right now. Nakobe Dean, I would love to see what Nakobe Dean has. I'm a bit higher on Nakobe Dean than some people. I think I want to see what Nakobe Dean can do. It was hard for him to get on the field when you have T.J. Edwards and Kaiser White, just their experience. Probably play a little faster than him, but this is an opportunity for Nakobe Dean. Will he be able to crack the starting lineup? Will he do enough? That's a player that we need to pan out. Nakobe Dean has to pan out. Jordan Davis has to pan out. Another guy that I feel like is flying under the radar, Reed Blankenship. He's still here. A talented young guy who I think is eager to compete for the starting spot. And we'll see if they bring Marcus Epps back. There's no guarantee. But I think Reed Blankenship is a guy that I'm willing to bet on. I'm willing to allow Reed Blankenship to compete for that starting role. And Khonshu, when it comes to Nakobe Dean, you're right. When he got the opportunity, he went on that field and he got 5 tackles, like 5 or 6 tackles, something like that, in a matter of 2 drives. Like he was everywhere. I think he had a tackle for loss. So yeah, Nakobe Dean has a leg to stand on, but CJ, are they going to try to bring him back? I think that's a guy you have to try to pay. He's priority number 2. Jalen Hurts' contract is priority number 1. Courtney Hood says, I like Reed over Epps. Some people do. I still would like to see more from him because ultimately the starters were Epps and CJ when CJ came back. So I'm curious to see what Reed Blankenship actually has in the tank. But overall, I think he's someone that I'm willing to give an opportunity to. Can he earn the starting spot? I'm willing to bet on that. I'm willing to see where that goes. Al Dolente, he says Dean needs what he had in college to be successful. He had depth of huge and talented D-line. He needs to keep those guys. He needs to keep those guys off him to be successful. Well, that's asking for a lot for a player that you want to be a starter. I'm not saying Nakobe Dean. I'm not saying defensive players don't need help around them, but we're expecting Nakobe Dean to be a starter, meaning we're expecting him to be somewhat of a game changer. And sometimes you're not going to have the D-line you always want. Sometimes you're not going to have the defensive line you always want. So Nakobe Dean has to find a way to make an impact with the D-line as it's presently constructed. Maybe his boy Jordan Davis got to step his weight up. I expected a little more from Jordan Davis. I knew he wasn't going to be a stat sheet stuffer because that's not his play style. He's a nose tackle, so he's not really going to get that many, You're not going to really see him get sacks like that. But still, a guy that strong, that athletic, I expected a little more from him. He dealt with injuries this year, so he has to stay healthy, has to make sure his conditioning is nice and tight, and then we'll find out what we have in Jordan Davis. Because I would hate for that pick to turn out to be something that I don't want to say. I would hate for it to turn out that way. But this is what we're going to do, you guys. We are going to take our first break of the show. I appreciate y'all so much for liking it on the content. Smash that like button. You guys are locked in on Good Morning NFC East. I'm your guy, Tone, DeShields II, filling in for Jeff Kerr.